today we are going to be talking about the new ASICS Roadhawk FF2s. I say they're new, they're not brand new, but they've been released this year. I'm really excited to get my hands on a pair of these. I've been looking for some new shoes for a while now. Obviously you guys know I've been running the ASICS Gel Phoenix 9s and I've managed to get nearly 500 miles out of those bad boys, and I have retired them as of last weekend. The 20-mile long run video you saw on my channel was their last outing, and we have now introduced these little beauties into the mix. So before we get into this video, I just wanted to say that I was really on the edge of trying a different brand of shoe. As you guys know, I'm a very loyal ASICS runner. Something just clicks with me in their shoes. They're just good all-round shoes. But obviously, after watching a lot of shoe reviews on the internet, there's lots of different brands that I'm really keen to try out. But to be perfectly honest with you, Seth James Damore posted out a video a couple of weeks back and basically said, who's your loyal go-to shoe brand? And I said ASICS. A chap called Chris commented back and said, nah, not keen. And I sort of said to him, you know, oh, what's your brand? And he said, well, I used to run an ASICS, but actually, if you look at the competition in the market, there are so many other big shoe companies like New Balance, On Sports, Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, Reebok. They're all kind of developing their own technologies and really taking the running market by storm, especially On Sports, who, as much as I'm keen on watching all of these Nike running shoe reviews and New Balance, On Running Sports, for example, are people that are kind of exploding out of nowhere, and it kind of feels a little bit like these guys have been left behind. And I agree with Chris, to be honest with you. I thought to myself, that's a really valid point. So I thought to myself, okay, challenge on. Let's try and find an ASICS shoe that is of a newer model that is trying to utilise maybe some of their own technologies, some of their own features to kind of try and set themselves apart. And I came across this little beauty. Now, I have watched a couple of reviews on the Roadhawk FF, the first model, and then onto this one, and they have actually said, some of those people, that actually they're not too sure what's changed in this model to make it any better, if anything, which is an interesting point. But as I haven't run in the Roadhawk, the original version, you will have a completely unbiased review. So there are loads of great things I love about the shoe, which I'm going to talk about now. There is one thing that I'm not sure about, and we will see how we go with it. It's not a deal breaker, but it's something that I'm aware of. But let's start with everything good about it. The general all-round ASICS layout, which I love. Something following on from the Gel Phoenix 9, no overlays on top of here. The Gel Phoenix 8 had all of these overlays, kind of like these little bit plasticky bits here, but they had them all over the front. It just adds weight to the design, and actually the Gel Phoenix 9 ditched all of that and had this beautiful kind of mesh front. This applies the same. It's absolutely brilliant and allows you to have better flexibility when you're pushing off. It's fantastic. So that is a feature, when I saw this, I thought fantastic. And that kind of runs throughout. You've got the ASICS logo there under this mesh. You've got a few little overlay bits here. If I turn it around this side, you've got some bits and pieces here, and the nice little ASICS Roadhawk FF2 logo here. But overall, I absolutely love that. The tongue, I love. The tongue on an ASICS shoe is normally quite bulky. This is nice and thin, but not too thin, and I really, really like that. It fits comfortably without being a massive chunk of material sat on top of your foot heating it up, which is great because some tongues on shoes can be rather cumbersome. That is brilliant. And the typical ASICS design with the lace, nothing fancy here, just typical lace locks, holes for the laces, nothing. I can get it nice and tight. Got the fit really nice. Just for your reference, I ran it for the first time on Tuesday evening for my workout. Moving on from that, we've got the flytefoam. This was something I was really keen. I looked at a few pairs of ASICS and thought to myself, I really like those, but it didn't incorporate flytefoam, or they had minimal amounts of it. Well, this bad boy has a lot of flytefoam on it, and flytefoam is ASICS' signature material that they're using in their shoes for that energy return. You see Nike with their Epic React foam, and all these other brands trying to come up with their own kind of new technology. Well, this is ASICS, and I am a massive fan. Got to be honest, put the shoe on for the first time on Tuesday night, went out for the run, first half mile, very hard. You know, it was a very strange sensation. Very light shoe, but very hard. Within 2 miles, it felt like I was running with clouds on my feet. So it takes a couple of miles to bed in, but you know. The interesting thing for this, and I will talk about it when I do my over 400 mile review, or over 200 miles depending on how many miles it gets, is how this flight foam lasts. Because in the Gel Phoenix 9 it's a combination of the gel, the ASICS typical gel stuff that they chuck in the soles, as well as the flight foam. This looks to be, there's no double layer on the Gel Phoenix, as you might remember. It was flight foam on the sole, and then up here it kind of cut away, and this top bit was the gel. So this doesn't have any of that. So that was another thing that I am keen to see how it lasts and holds up. First run, bloody lovely. Nice and flexible shoe, brilliant, and lightweight. It is a 10mm drop from here to here. So we start at 26mm and go down to 16mm. I think that's right, I'm just checking on the screen. Yeah, 26 to 16, which means it's a 10mm drop, which obviously promotes landing and pushing off better. A lot of you guys I know like neutral shoes, flats like Ultras and things. That's fine. I've never really run in a neutral shoe before. I've always had either between a 6 to 10mm drop, and these guys feel natural to me, which is fantastic. So overall, I'm in love with this shoe. 264 grams, which is 9.3 ounces, which is the right side of 10. I like to get a shoe that's quite lightweight. A lot of the ASICS gel range shoes are over 10 ounces, and that's purely because of the material and how heavy they are. This obviously, because they've done, it's the Roadhawk, which it isn't their racing shoe, but it's meant to be fast and flat, and this will be super for hopefully a nice 10k PB or half marathon PB. We'll see. So it sheds some weight, especially from the Gel Phoenix 9. You might remember I said on that video that version 9 felt lighter than the 8. Well, this is lighter again. So this felt, as I said to you on Tuesday night, like I was running with clouds on my feet. It was lovely. I'm going to jump to the one thing that I am not sure on. For some of you that might know, you might have seen in my videos, I have a weakness in my right side. You'll notice that as I run, as I'm running, if you look from behind me, my right foot, I don't know if that's right or left on the camera, it's my right hand, it's your left. My right foot kind of turns out, so where this one goes back and forth when I'm running, foot plants, pushes off, foot plants, pushes off. This one plants and then kind of goes out at an angle, and then plants and goes out at an angle. And that's just where I've got weak hips and glutes that I need to strengthen on that side. Now, with a lot of ASICS gel shoes, they are neutral, which I'm used to, and I always run in neutral shoes, but they always have just that tiny bit of minor stability, and their soles on their shoes sort of signify that. There's normally some kind of cutout here, a little bit, just to promote a touch of stabilization for your foot. Even though it's neutral, it's very minor. This is pan flat, and I noticed last night when I was on Tuesday night, when I was doing my reps, my fartlek session, when I ran fast, it was beautiful. When I ran slow, I really noticed that it exaggerated that motion of when my foot landed and it kicked out and landed and kicked out, and that I believe is going to be down to the fact that there is not even a minimal amount of stabilisation in there. So all that means to me is that highlights the fact that I need to get working on my right side, my hips and my glutes, and strengthen those up to correct that and get that sorted. I've been doing that for the last 6 months. I will continue to do so. I must stress it caused me no pain whatsoever. I looked down when I was plodding out along on my cool down and thought, oh, that looks, that really is accentuating it. But on the whole, this shoe is lovely. So for you neutral runners out there, so far after the first run, so good. As ASICS says in there, they want you to feel fast, and I am feeling fast in it. So there we go. That is my initial first impressions of this ASICS Roadhawk FF2. I'm in love. It is a beautiful shoe. We will see how it holds up. I'm keen to see what this flight foam does after a few miles. But yeah, it's going to be a good one, I hope. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, guys, please do give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for weekly running content. And I will see you next time. Until then.